What's going on, guys? So Haida sent me a set of filters for my Nikon 14 to 24. Now if you guys own any of these lenses like the Nikon 14 to 24, the Tamron 15 to 30, or anything with the really large bulbous front end, you know that filters are so hard to find and they're very expensive, and the systems that are there, there's only a few of them. So Haida got a hold of me and they wanted to test out their new magnetic filter set, the M15. I told them I would do it, but I told them it'd have to be an honest review. I couldn't, just say everything positive about it, or only give it a rave review, something like that. So, and I'm going to show you guys right here the message on Instagram they sent me, how I replied, just so you guys can see that. Everything I say here, because trust is such a big deal for me, that everything I say here is going to be my honest opinion. I'm not being paid. They did send me these out for free. I didn't pay for them, so I'm going to test them out. A couple of things I'm going to talk about here is the actual setup of the filters and how it works, the entire system. I'm going to test color cast. They sent me a 6-stop and a 10-stop and a circular polarizer, so I'm going to test all these out. So you guys know how much I love my Benro filters. That's what I've been using. I have a Nisi Filter holder, and then I have a Benro 6-stop and a Lee 10-stop. So I want to test the color cast compared to the Benro and the Lee's. I think we all know that Lee's pretty famous for having a really blue color cast, but I really want to test these out. I come to a place where there's some beautiful red rocks with some really blue sky, so you guys can see how the color cast is between no filter. The 6-stop is the red diamond from Haida, which is their newer line. So you're going to see the 6-stop red diamond. You're going to see the Nano Filter Pro 10-stop from them, which is the round magnetic filter. And then you're also going to see the circular polarizer and how that works. So I'm excited to show you guys this. I'm excited to test this out. And so let's get started. Okay guys, so the first thing I want to talk about is the setup and how this system works. So right off the bat, there's one thing that I absolutely love about this, and that is how the circular polarizer goes in between the filter adapter and the filter holder. So it's magnetic, so it clicks in, it doesn't come out. It's really, really nice when it comes to that. And then it's got this dial that spins the filter, so I don't have to do that. Now, if you guys have seen my other filter, my Nisi filter set, it's actually a square filter, and so you rotate the entire filter holder. This one, you don't have to do that. So if you have a grad filter on there and a circular polarizer, a lot of times you'd run into a situation where you couldn't use them both because you couldn't turn the grad filter one way and the polarizer another. So that ended up being an issue. With this one, you don't have that issue, so that's super nice. All you have to do is spin this dial up here to spin that circular polarizer, but then you can turn, if you got a grad filter, you can turn that and position it whichever way you want, which is absolutely fantastic. On top of that, one thing that I ran into a lot, especially in places like Patagonia or anywhere where it was really, really wet, if you're photographing in the rain, or if there's any kind of water, mist, things like that from a waterfall, what would happen is, because you have these 3 filter slots, in between the filters would get wet. So you'd have to pull out filters to clean them if it was really bad. Sometimes, like I said, if it was raining, it was a real issue. But with this, you have the circular polarizer in between, so there's no way water can get in between for their circular polarizer. And then the very first filter you put in, so say you got a 6-stop and the circular polarizer, the only thing you have to worry about is that front filter, the 6-stop, getting wet. You don't have to worry about it getting wet in between because of where the filter holder lines up. If you have a second and third filter, a square filter on the front of that, then you're going to run into that same issue. But if you have just a circular polarizer and a 6-stop, or one square filter, whatever that is, or if it's a grad filter or something like that, then you're not going to have that issue, which is really nice. Now, the one thing I do want to talk about, I already don't like, and if you see on my Nisi filter, I'll show you guys here a quick clip of the difference. One thing I'm going to tell you is, and again, I go back to Patagonia, is the wind. So what you can hear here is a little bit of play. There's a little bit of play between the filter holder. Now, if it's windy, you're going to hear that. and that's a bit of a, it's kind of annoying. My Nisi filter is super quiet. It doesn't do that. There's no play anywhere. So that's the one thing that I don't like. The other thing is the noise when you spin. It's just metal on metal. There's no, you know, because of that play, it makes that scraping noise when you try and spin it. So these are just minor things, but it is kind of annoying. My Nisi filter holder doesn't do that. It's absolutely quiet. When you turn it, there's no play anywhere, so it's absolutely silent. So that I could see being a possible problem if you're in a windy situation, and just that annoying little, if you're trying to spin a filter holder, like you want to spin a grad or something one way, then it's a little bit of an issue. The only other thing I see is the little security lock on top here. So when you spin on this filter, when you put it on, all you do is you just slide it on, you tighten it down, and then there's a little security lock, a little knob here. It's very small. So if you got gloves on, if it's cold, possibly it could be an issue, but yeah, that's pretty much it, I think, is that, you know, if you're wearing gloves or something, you have to take your glove off to do it. But once it's on there, once the filter holder's on there, no problem at all. So yeah, that's the only real issues I think I see about this, is the noise, the little bit of play there, and then just this little knob on top. So now what I want to do is look at the color cast. Alright guys, so what I've done here is I've taken a shot with no filter on at all. There's nothing on here. It's just straight glass. So what I have is I've set the white balance manually to 5,000. So I'm going to put on the 6-stop red diamond from Haida first. I'm going to test that out, and I'm going to show you guys this shot right here. Now that's with the 6-stop red diamond filter, and from just looking on the back of the camera, the shadow moved from the light. So other than that, what I'm looking at is the blue sky. So if I'm looking at the blue sky here, it looks like, it's hard to tell on the back of the camera, but maybe a slight, just a hair of a magenta cast, but almost nothing. I mean, from what I'm looking at here, it is almost nothing. All right, so now I'm gonna take this red diamond off, and I'm gonna put on the Benro 6-stop and see how that looks. Again, this is the Benro 6-stop. All right, and take a shot there. The Benro might be a little bit closer. Yeah, it looks to me like there might be just a little bit of a magenta or red in the Haida filter, and then the Benro is fairly neutral. It's pretty close. Alright guys, so the 10-stop they sent me is actually the round magnetic. So what this does is it goes on the inside. So I take this off and I just go ahead and slap it in like this until it's nice and doesn't come out. So that's good. That's a good thing. All right, just spin it around here, click it in, and this is really nice. It doesn't really come off, so I've hit this a bunch of times just to test it, because that's one thing I remember when the Lees came out a couple of years ago. It was real bad with that. I'd knocked mine down so many times, and I'm not a big fan of the Lee filters at all. So, okay, this is the 10-stop Nano Pro from Haida, and this is their magnetic filter. So let's get the settings right and test it out. It looks like the 10-stop almost has zero color cast. It looks the same as the Benro 6-stop. So I'm looking at it right now, and the blues look very similar. Like I said, I gotta wait and get it back on the camera or on the computer, and but it looks very similar. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put on the Lee filter, which is a square filter. It's a 10-stop. I'm expecting a very, very dramatic color cast on this, but as far as this Haida filter goes, I am absolutely impressed. Looking on the back of the camera, I'm very impressed with the way it turned out. It looks like it's extremely neutral, which I know it's a funny thing to say, but that's huge for a 10-stop filter, really. Okay, so while this is taking a photo, I just want to tell you guys this. So this is the 10-stop Lee filter, and when I got it, when I put it on here, I actually had to go from 10 seconds to 20 seconds for my shutter speed. So the exposure actually between this 10 stop and the last 10 stop was almost one full stop. So I'm not sure if that's because the Haida is actually not quite 10 stops, or I'll probably have to get on my PhotoPills app and do the math on that. But yeah, so it was a 10-second shutter speed with the Haida filter, but with the Lee filter 10 stop, it was 20 seconds long. So it's double the shutter speed. Yeah, you can tell there's a pretty big blue color cast on this, but that the 10 stop difference is pretty interesting. So what I want to do here is do a little bit of math. So I'm looking at my PhotoPills app here. It's got an exposure calculator on there. Okay guys, so my original exposure with no filter on is 1/80th of a second, f11 ISO 64. At 10 stops, that should be at 13 seconds. So that means the Haida red diamond filters are about 9 2/3 of a stop, and the Lee filter is actually quite a bit more. It's about almost 11 stops, so it's quite the difference. So it's that's pretty interesting to know. You know, I would have never guessed that. I've never actually done the math or really tried that. So it's interesting to me to see that it's actually, the red diamond is, you know, 1/3 of a stop under the actual 10 stops that it says, and the Lee is actually 1 stop over, so, or almost 1 full stop over. So yeah, very interesting. Alright guys, so let's wrap this up a little bit. We got some really amazing filters. I like what Haida is doing here with the way they got this set up, how the circular polarizer and the 10 stop magnetic filter go inside and in between the filter holder and the adapter, so no rain can get on it. You can actually turn the filter separate from a grad filter, so that is a huge thing for me. I love it. The color cast for the 6 stop was a little bit magenta, I think, but it's not that bad. The 10 stop was absolutely impressive. Zero color cast from the looks of the back of the camera. The way the filters fit in the filter slots, everything is very sturdy, very well built. The way that it feels sturdy. The only part that feels a little bit cheap is that little bit of play, like I told you guys before, and then that noise it makes. So of course the things that I can't test are durability, and whether these the threads and things like that start wearing over time, or how that performs in the rain, things like that, and the wind and all that kind of stuff. That's gonna have to take some time. Of course I can't do that right now. So other than those tests, I am extremely impressed with these filters, the filter system. I love what they've done here. I like it better than the Nisi holder. From the standpoint of being able to turn the circular polarizer different from the actual filter holder itself. So to me, that's a huge deal. They need to clean up the little bit of play they have there, but like I said, not a huge issue. Overall, I think I like them better than my other sets. So, and you guys know how much I love my Benros. I want to say a big thank you to Haida for sending these out to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. If something I haven't covered or maybe I didn't mention, I'll try and answer them the best I can. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. See you later. Bye.